And that's where we wrap it. Yo, welcome to my TED Talk. Welcome to the evolution of the construction woman. Welcome to an era of the true capacity and tenacity of the built environment woman, and an era where we start talking more about the value and not about the resilience, and we start talking more about creating those resources, so everybody can be their best, but especially women. So with that, I'm going to leave you on this episode. So grateful to be here. Your word of thanks could just be a comment about how you're feeling about going into the construction industry, what have been your experiences, and what we can do to change those experiences. What type of things we want, what type of conversations would we prefer that we have within the construction industry, and what type of things do we want to be teaching our male counterparts, for them to create a better environment for us to thrive, within built. I think that is the best, the best one. So I'm going to leave you there. Again, for those that don't know me, my name is Upili Pimba. This is The Construct, and I will see you next time.
Hey guys, it's me from the future. Please make sure to let's like the video now. I know that we forget. I know that with YouTube we forget. So just now you've just gotten a glimpse of what's going to happen. So just pause the video quickly and just like it, and maybe just send me a hi. I'd really love that. Please do that for me right now, but also a few moments earlier.
Sanbonani is South Africa, our land. Welcome to the best construction channel in the land. For those that don't know me, my name is Upilile Pemba, and this is The Construct. For 2025, I'm still in the spirit of sit downs and having these conversations and being part of the voices that we are going to create in the built environment. So today I wanted us to speak about the audacity of the built environment woman. I think we speak a lot about the resilience that was needed by women that forged us and got us here, where we feel like and where we know that we have a right to be heard. So I think in terms of just the fight of inclusivity and getting to those positions and having leadership within the built environment, I think the one core value that I would like to to use is just to know my value. 2024, I know my value. I think it's important for us to understand our value before we want to be, we want the men in this industry to clap for us. Our value is not in where we have struggled. Our value is not in the resilience of crappy things happening to us. Our value is within our value, and there are different spectrums of value within the built environment. And I think it's also such a conversation that we need to be having with our male counterparts who are, how can I put it? Some of them literally have certain blind spots in terms of, they don't intentionally mean to, they don't wake up and they're like, today I want to fuck with Gunny's day, But I think because of some of the conversations that we are not having and correcting those behaviors without it being a hostile situation, it's also a very important, I think, for me as a woman in construction, and for me being an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneur within construction that is doing a lot of different things. There's sometimes where I'm on site, and there's sometimes where I have to be more corporate. There's sometimes where I have to be social. So there are so many parts of myself that I get to exercise within this industry, and the one lesson that I've learned is that work with people who already know the mandate. work with people who already understand your value. I think obviously, as an SME, you want to be taking a lot of jobs, and you want to be, quantity you feel like is quality, but it's not. So it's important that instead of having to spend 5 projects trying to educate people and trying to do the best that you can, and educating people who actually say, oh, so, there are people that actually still say in construction, oh, so you actually do the work. I'm like, what do you mean I actually do the work? I said I was going to do the work, so of course I actually do the work. So we are still in an environment where, a lot of people also don't do the work. So we also need to be accountable for the women also that are just taking this thing and are just, are just on a gravy train, and are going to use the woman narrative to the best of their ability. And people don't like to speak about a lot of these things within construction, but it's just tiring now, because now you accustom certain people that they can take a chance in you moving in a certain way, or you not having a voice, or you not having something to say, or you not knowing what you're doing. So in as much as we need to understand our value, we need to also help those that can't take accountability for setting us back. For setting us back, bro. It's like all I'm trying to do here, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just genuinely trying to do my job. And, there are just so many other things now that are just like, yo, bro, this is not the party. This is not where the party is at. But value women taking accountability, corporate taking accountability, understanding the narrative, having uncomfortable conversations that are not hostile. Because it's also okay for people to say, I don't understand. I don't understand how you move that way. How is it that I can make this process a bit better for you? Or how can I give you the best resources for you to do the best job that you can? I love working with people like that. People who say, you're good at what you do. I want to give you the best platform so you can do it. That person is not helping me. That person is not saying, oh no, because you're a woman, I'm going to try and be a bit. That person is saying, I understand where you are coming from. I understand that you're good at what you're doing. I'm going to play my part in order for you to be your best. That's all we want. We're not trying now to say, oh no, because I'm a woman, I can't. No, that's not the conversation. So once we get to that point, oh man, I get this from my younger, like the girls that I mentor, where they ask me, Pilili, how do I become more confident? And I'm just like, confidence is, I think Rihanna said it best, you fake it till you make it. There are so many instances where I feel intimidated. There are so many instances where I feel like, I'm not supposed to be there. The imposter syndrome. There are so many, but those are feelings, and so is confidence. No one is actually telling you that you're not good enough, or you being soft-spoken is not okay. You can command rooms and be part of the conversations without being loud. I think that's also important, that just because you're loud does not mean that essentially you're the one that is right. And that's what happens with a lot of men in this industry. Once you start challenging them, then they start getting loud. They start getting really loud. So it's important to understand that just because he's loud does not mean he's right. Or just because someone is loud does not essentially mean that they're right. So confidence is knowing what you're doing. It's being prepared about what you're going for. It's about being one step ahead always. And not because you're a woman, because you just want to be better. You just want to be better, and being competitive about your craft. And that's okay. Like once you get to a point where you feel like you're good enough, it's okay to grow a couple of balls. I know a lot of girls within construction. Most girls in construction have balls. Like there's a friend of mine who always says, dude, if I were to whip out my dick, it's probably bigger than his. So it's not even about the physical, but it's about knowing what you're doing and having it backed up, like having your things backed up. And once you're like that, I also know a lot of women that are soft spoken, that are beasts. Once you get her, like she will silently, like get you to a space where you guys will calm down, where she will not change her pace, she will not change her tone, she will speak, and then you'll kind of hear like they'll start like calming down, and then you can hear from the power from what she says. So it's not always about just wanting to, I am here and listen to me now. I think it's about our different personality types. And once we get to a point where we understand that you don't have to be a certain personality to be able to be in this industry, you can be whoever you are, and find your voice in what you do and doing it the best that you can. And once we get to that point, then we get to a point where the conversation is different because you're not trying to be something else. You're not trying to prove a point. You're trying to be the best that you can be, and those conversations are different. And we are moving into a world where the built environment is inclusive in a way that not just in like just creating like a breast pumping station, but understanding the difficulties that come with being a mother. That come, that come with being a mother and being at a space where like you're shedding and the fact that we still do it also and are still better, the breast pumping station shouldn't just be a breast pumping station. It should be an understanding of the transition of the employee or the leader or whatever, and creating resources for her that are going to capacitate her, to be the best that she can be. I think men in leadership then should start having those conversations that, do you understand the mental capacity of a woman? Do you understand the value and the value that she brings within the company? Do you understand that, there's a friend of mine actually, a couple of years ago, she's in a leadership position at her company, and we were talking about just, how unfair the system is, and how we have to do things twice as hard in order to get half of the scraps that our male counterparts, especially within these male dominated industries, get. So her colleague was like, and they were running for like, I think it was a director level type of thing, and the guy's like, she was leaving, I think it was about 8ish, 9ish, and he was like, oh, you're leaving already? And she was like, oh, okay, let's call him Steve. Okay, Steve, who's at home? Oh no, my wife and my kids. I'm someone's wife, and I'm someone's mother. So, like if that guy didn't get how crazy what he said was at that moment, then I don't think he will ever learn his lesson. And I hope he goes back, and I hope he went back to his wife and he told her that for her to educate him. Like I think as wives and as sisters and mothers, it's very important for us to have those conversations at home, with your brothers, with your dads, so they don't be out here making you guys look crazy, like they are not educated, So I think those conversations need to start at home, where I think the value of a woman needs to be reintroduced and re-educated, and it's not that we haven't moved miles to get here, but it's not where it's supposed to be. It's not where it's supposed to be, especially within these industries. And it's not even like that poster child of, oh no, women don't like to come into this industry because they don't like manual work. Hey, yo, it's not that. I think more than anything, it's not talent entering, it's retention of the talent. a lot of women within this industry find themselves in other industries because they're just treated better, because those industries have kind of started or making headway in terms of solving for the woman problem. So the problem within our industry is not really introducing girls. Yes, we do have that, but we're also losing a lot of talent. And we speak about this all the time about how transactional construction is, and like people are always trying to get the next purchase order, the next contracts, the next like it's always about the administration of the contract, but we are forgetting the human capital part of it. Then these conversations will never stop happening. These conversations will never stop happening because the work that they are putting in is not because they're authentically trying to understand and solve for the woman problem. All they're trying to be is trying to look like they are doing better than their counterparts, to be honest. And once we get to that point where we are starting to understand that the human capital of construction is our most valuable asset, and doing the administration is the risk management. The risk is the human capital. Once we get to a point of understanding that and having conversations that are not just built around the administration of what we are doing, but actually understanding that it's a human problem, and the way that we interact within this industry is going to determine how we advance the industry and the conversations that we are having in order to carry out those projects, that will be a game changer. That will be a game changer. But it's also it's such a I think once you get to entrepreneurship, then you get to a point where it's such a it's an introspective process, and I think so is leadership. And once leaders start getting to a point where you look at the women that are within your organization, and you really start to understand their value other than what you know. And I don't mean that you don't understand them. It's not even about that. It's about, like going above and beyond to try and understand people. That's simple. If you were to ask people about, if you were to ask like anonymously, because obviously there are a lot of people that are in corporate and have jobs, but how many of you are working for a company that you hate? Like that you feel unseen, unheard. Some of them in those boardrooms, they call you low-lying fruit. And because they genuinely don't understand. So I think the corporate and women issue and women problem and being able to gain and retain female talent within the construction industry has to do with a lot of conversation. We can't be forcing people to put us a miles ahead, if they don't want to. The journey can't be forced. It's a mental thing. It's something that has to come from men wanting to stand, and men wanting to take a stand, and men that want to understand in order to have a resolution. And the first part of that is men understanding, or our male counterparts, some of them, not all of them, needing to understand that they don't understand. Apparently, the smallest thing to know is that you're stupid enough to not know the things that you don't know. And once we get to that point, the real conversations, the real things start happening.